My name is Portia Dossi. We are doing an oral history interview of Ida Boston here at the Lawton House in Oviedo on April 18th, 2015. So Ida, can you tell me a little bit about the items you brought today?
Okay. I brought with me a picture of the first schoolhouse in Oviedo, which was called the Colored School. And it was called the Little Red Schoolhouse. And it was also the first church of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. I also bought a picture of the school after they left the Little Red Church from the Little Red School from the church to the school that was built on Division Street called the Colored School. And I bought a ration book that was issued long ago for the blacks to get food as well. And I bought a picture of Butler, Boston.
Tell me a bit about Prince Butler Boston and its significance to Oviedo.
Prince Butler Boston came to Oviedo from where he came off of the plantation, the Atkinson plantation in Georgia. And at that time, he was known as Prince Butler Atkinson. But when he came to Oviedo, he did not want to carry the slave name, so he changed his name to Prince Butler Boston. So when we celebrate the family, we celebrate the Atkinson Boston family to make sure we keep the beginning name. And so his father brought him here, and once they got here, his father was named Atkinson. And so then he brought his son here, and then they set up here in Oviedo. And Dr. Atkinson was the first doctor of Oviedo. And so after that, a freeze came, and then Atkinson left, but he gave all of his land, which was 300 acres, to Prince Butler Boston. And that's where he started his family. And Prince was known to with a lot of dignity, and he was concerned about the black people that lived in Oviedo. And he was an encourager. He encouraged all of them that came if they could afford to buy property. So most of them that did have money, they bought property. So this was the purpose of Henry Jackson bought property. They named Jackson High School after him. He gave the land to them to build the school, Jackson Heights School. And Prince Butler owned all those 3 acres of land that he had orange trees on. So he was also a carpenter. He built his own house. His house had 17 rooms. He had 10 children, and each one of those children had their own room. So I have a picture of the house that I didn't show, but I can show that picture of the house to you so you can have that. And he had 10 children, sent all of them to college. Every one of them graduated, and every one of them moved away to different states except for one, which was my husband's dad, Joseph Boston, and he's the only one that didn't go get a full college degree. He only went for a couple of years, but he joined the military. And so he's been a part of Oviedo history. There's a Boston Street, there's a Boston Alley, there's a Boston Cemetery, and there was a Boston Project, but someone bought the project about 10 years ago, and they changed the name to Academy Place. But before that, it was called the Butler Boston Project.
Tell me about your husband and his father and your marriage.
Okay. My husband, Russell W. Boston, I met him in 55. We got married in 56, and he was the 4th child of Joseph Boston. And Joseph lived on the property that his dad, P.P. Boston, gave him 3 acres of land. So he had his family, and he had 10 children that he raised. And my husband, very nice gentleman. he joined the military, and he spent 20 years in the military. I spent 18 years in the military with him. So he retired in 1973. Then he got his own business, which we lived on the Boston property until the land was sold. And after the land was sold, then we added on to my mom's house, which where I live now, 53 Lansing Lane. But after he retired from the military, he got his own business, which was land clearing, and he worked that for 30 years. And now he's retired. I'm retired as a school bus driver. I drove the school bus for 25 years. So both of us are retired, enjoying our lives, and we love Oviedo.
Awesome. For some of the items you brought, can you tell me about their historical significance? You said that there was a photo you wanted to talk about. Is it?
Okay, the photo of the house.
You brought a lot of great stuff.
Okay. This is our history book. Okay. This is a little bit. Okay. This is the house that Grant Butler Boston built. Okay, can you get a picture of it?
Do you know what year that was built in?
No, I don't know what year. But all I know, it has the 17 rooms. It was a beautiful home, and it was built around a lake that was 7 miles long, and it's where the Canterbury Retreat is now. And then the lake is still there. The lake was named Lake Jim, and it was named after his girlfriend before he married Julia. So he named the lake so he could keep her in his mind all the time. I'll show you a picture of the lake, which is a beautiful lake, which all of the Boston family learned to swim in the lake. This is Lake Jim. And it's still there right now. But it's just not as large as it used to be. They're filling a lot of the lake. But this is called Lake Jim, and it was a lake that right around the house of Prince Butler Boston.
So, I believe there was an Oviedo Action Committee, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, that dealt with the Black community in Oviedo.
Oviedo Citizens in Action.
Can you tell me about the organization?
Okay. The organization was organized back in the 60s. It was chartered back in the 60s, but it was organized even before then. And it was organized because at that time we had the colored school, and we could not eat there was a drugstore. We could not eat in the drugstores. We could not go into any of the barbershops to get our hair cut or anything like this. We could not swim in the swimming pool. So that's why they organized the organization to make sure that we would get recognized. So we went into, with the organization members, our first president, Reverend James Brody, and some of the other members, we sat into the drugstore until they decided to serve us. We went into the barbershop until they decided to cut our hair, until they really told us that they just didn't know how to cut our hair. So, and I guess it was really a good reason. So a lot of times they would go into the barbershop and he would just close it down because he didn't want us in it, so he would close it up. And finally he just said, I really don't know how to cut black people's hair. So that was a lot for him. And the school, we had to go to Sanford to school. We couldn't go after we left our colored school. We had to go to Sanford to high school. So the organization fought to be able to go to school here in Oviedo. So during the civil rights fighting and so forth, that's when we were able to not have to go. We had to catch the bus. We had to walk to Oviedo town, no matter where we lived. The bus came through Oviedo. and we had to walk to catch the bus to go to San until we were able to go to the Oviedo High School. So that was the purpose of the organization, to fight for our rights.
How long was the organization around for, or is it still around?
It's still around. They're very, very active, and it's no longer a black organization. We have everybody in it now, so it's just really nice. The city is a part of our organization. The city gives us a building. We have an office. It's given to us by the city, so nothing like it used to be. So, but we had to fight for those rights. So we got those rights, and the organization is 46 years old.
You talked a little bit about it, but what was it like growing up black in Seminole County in Oviedo?
Okay, I can't talk about that as much because I only spent 1 year, but when I came in 55, I got married in 56, and then I went with my husband in a military life. So I lived a military life for 18 years. But Oviedo had been very good as far as I know. I didn't go through any of the problems that I know some of the others went through. When I had my kids, we were away, so they were in school when I came back. Off and on, because my husband, every 2 years we would move. So when I got back, they were able to go to the Oviedo High School. So I do not have any of the problems that I know some of the others had. But during the part of when they were fighting for the organization, I was here at the beginning, but then I left. So I don't have any idea about how some of the others grew up in Oviedo. But I just know that when my children was here, I remember when they when they integrated the school. A lot of the whites did not want us to come there, and they did not want to teach our students. They did not want them to swim in the swimming pool, so they covered it up. Just cover that big nice swimming pool up. So those are the little things that Oviedo System Action was fighting. But right now everything is just perfect. I think the organization was a good thing that they organized to make sure that they knew our feelings and knew the desires that we had in our heart and the things that we wanted equal rights. So we have that. So Oviedo is just a perfect place to live in. We don't have no problems with nobody. The city itself is with us, and they become a part of us. And so it's just great. I encourage anybody, if you want to live in a perfect place, come to Oviedo.
Is there anything else you want to tell me about that you brought that you think is significant to Oviedo's history that conveys Prince Butler Boston's legacy?
Number one, the cemetery. He gave the 5 acres of land, and it was really given for the colored people. That's what it was called, the colored cemetery, and it was given to them so they have a place to bury the dead. Because the only other cemetery was the Methodist cemetery, which is on 426. But I know there's a few graves that's in that cemetery, but they had a hard time getting them to bury the blacks there. So at that time, but not now, that's not the problem now. So that was the purpose of him giving the 5 acres of land for the blacks to have a place that they could be buried free. So it would be free of charge. At that time, it's not that way now, but at that time it was free of charge. So that was the main thing that he did as far as the church. He put a lot of money inside of the Antioch church. He helped to build. He was a carpenter, so he helped to build some parts of the church. So that was his contribution the church and the cemetery, and the city of Oviedo really recognized him as being one of the leaders to encourage. They would go to him for whatever they needed to know, because he was like the spokesman for the black people of Oviedo. So that's how I always saw him.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
I guess that's it. I hope it's interesting. Okay.
Thank you so much for talking to us about this.
Okay. Thank you.